you might soon find yourself behind the wheel of a Chinese electric car. Right? However, questions about the safety of this technology may still linger in your mind. The dream of owning your vehicle could potentially turn to ashes, a scenario that has unfolded globally. But are these fires a trend or merely isolated incidents? How is this market evolving in Brazil? Let's dive in and explore. Electric vehicles on the rise. By the end of 2023, the Dolphin, an electric car from BYD, a Chinese automaker, surpassed traditional combustion engine vehicles like the Renault Logan and Nissan Sentra in Brazilian sales. While electric cars are still a novelty in Brazil, other parts of the developed world have been familiar with them for over a decade. In these regions, perceptions of the electric car market are shifting, revealing potential drawbacks. This is partly because an electric car is essentially a large battery on wheels, accounting for 30 to 45% of the vehicle's total cost. Traffic accidents often result in significant damage to these batteries, leading to scenarios where the vehicle is deemed a total loss. In such cases, insurance companies are compelled to cover the cost of a new vehicle, significantly driving up insurance prices. Moreover, in Europe, the United States, and even China, used electric cars are experiencing steep depreciation. In 2023, the depreciation hit 30%, in stark contrast to just 5% for combustion engine vehicles. China's journey as a leader in electric car manufacturing is long, predating the popularity of electric vehicles. In the 80s and 90s, China lacked experience in producing combustion engine cars. With government support, Chinese automakers sought partnerships with international automotive companies to gain essential technological and technical knowledge. In 1984, Volkswagen entered a joint venture with FAW Group, granting access to advanced automotive technology to both the company and China. Another significant partnership formed in 1997 between General Motors and SAIC Motors. Chery Automobile sent its employees to General Motors and Chrysler facilities in the United States during the 90s, learning about advanced manufacturing and automotive management practices. The electric revolution. You, being a savvy individual, might wonder why major global companies agreed to form partnerships and share their technologies with Chinese companies. The reason is straightforward. Manufacturers worldwide aim to curry favor with the Chinese government, hoping to gain advantages and sell their cars in China's vast market, home to billions of consumers. Since 2009, fiscal incentives totaling $60 billion were made available by the Chinese government. This funding helped local companies develop electric car technologies. And the foreign companies? Here's where the irony comes in. Over time, the same combustion engine car companies that boosted their sales in China saw the market dominated by affordable electric vehicles produced by Chinese automakers. How could they compete with that? Tesla, the world leader in electric and autonomous cars, was one of the few Western companies to maintain a good relationship with the Chinese government. Today, China leads the global production of electric cars. BYD, initially a battery manufacturer founded in 1995, even surpassed Tesla. With abundant resources, fierce competition for the domestic market ensued, resulting in more electric vehicles available than willing or able buyers. Companies had to reduce their profit margins, typically by lowering consumer prices or product quality. In China, often both strategies were employed. Moreover, the Chinese government has reduced funding for the sector in recent years. As of April 2023, 88% of Chinese automaker brands were less than 10 years old, and many have closed their doors. The novelty of electric vehicles has worn off. The Chinese realized maintaining this technology wasn't as advantageous or economical. Maintenance costs were high, and a scarcity of parts in specialized workshops became a significant problem. Sales began to decline, and it's no coincidence that today there are several graveyards of abandoned electric cars in China. However, China achieved its goal. It developed electric vehicle technology and tested it in its domestic market. If anything went wrong, it would be easier to manage the issues locally. After all, the Chinese Communist Party is not known for its transparency. Despite government control over the population and the internet, reports and videos of electric cars and buses catching fire or exploding began to emerge. This includes vehicles from BYD, which in 2023 surpassed Tesla as the top seller of electric cars. In 2024, BYD plans to start producing these vehicles in Brazil. Safety in electric cars. The primary challenge related to fires in electric vehicles lies in the unpredictability of their nature. When an energy cell is compromised, the fire can intensify dramatically, potentially leading to significant explosions. Let's be fair here. China is adopting stricter regulations for its automobiles, with a special focus on safety. It's reasonable to believe that the country does not want its cars causing havoc worldwide. It's worth noting that incidents of electric car fires are not exclusive to China. Even renowned companies, such as Tesla, have faced situations where their cars spontaneously caught fire or experienced severe technical failures. A notable incident involved a Tesla that, due to a software malfunction, accelerated uncontrollably despite the driver's efforts to stop it, resulting in a fatal collision. Regarding the second aspect leading Chinese vehicles to explode, theories abound. It's speculated that the construction of these cars, requiring constant maintenance, might not be accidental. In conventional cars, the most protected area is the center of the chassis, where crucial components are located. Specific safety equipment shields vital parts like the engine and fuel tank from road debris damage. However, it's been observed that in many Chinese models, the batteries are positioned extremely close to the ground, making them vulnerable to impact damage. This is particularly critical in electric vehicles, as battery damage can render the car inoperable. Furthermore, there are national security concerns in the United States linked to electric car technology. Autonomous vehicles, for example, rely on technology known as LiDAR, light detection and ranging. This technology, which allows the vehicle to perceive its surroundings, has various applications, from geographic mapping to domestic vacuum robots. The concern here is that most LiDAR components on the market are of Chinese origin. And, according to Chinese Communist Party policies, companies must share the data collected by their LiDAR sensors. This means that if you own a vacuum robot with this technology, the Chinese government could theoretically access the layout of your home. Electric cars in Brazil, an analysis. Should we feel secure with technological novelties arriving in Brazil? There's a chance for Brazilians to have a remarkable experience, embarking on a journey with a Chinese electric car. Let me elaborate further. I mentioned that BYD intends to produce electric cars on Brazilian soil. This would lead us to expect accessible and high-quality electric vehicles, right? But don't be too naive. Since 2015, there was no import tax on hybrid and electric vehicles, but this benefit was revoked by the federal government in January 2024. Until the end of last year, it was possible to purchase a BYD Dolphin for BRL 149,900. This opportunity vanished because, in January, the import tax was reintroduced at a rate of 12%. Frustrating, right? And it doesn't stop there. This tax will gradually increase to 35% by 2026, a measure to protect the national industry. Electric cars are considered environmentally friendly for being clean and quiet and are becoming more accessible abroad. Thus, they should benefit everyone, correct? Yet, more taxes are applied, remembering that, in Brazil, many common benefits in developed countries are not accessible. And there's more. The government plans to compensate electric vehicle importers with up to BRL 500 million. BYD, which is built